Aloha and welcome. My name is Mojo and I'm the Community Director of the Hedonisia Hawaii Sustainable Community. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of the volunteers that we have and some of the archetypes we have, because in communication with other communities we found that other people have had the same experiences. We're going to talk about black hats, white hats, and gray hats today. And basically it's kind of self-explanatory, especially when I explain the first one, which is white hats. A white hat is a person who we also describe as a hero, someone who's great, someone who's been wonderful, who has gone the extra mile, been a great friend, been a fantastic community member, loves what we're doing. It's become personal. It's become wonderfully friendly. And happy to say, I'm very happy to say, that we've had many community members over the years who have been white hats, who've been fantastic people to know and to have experienced in their time when they stayed at Hedonisia. That, of course, brings up the opposite, which is black hats. A black hat is defined as someone who's come here who is engaged in some behavior or action which is bordered on the criminal or has been directly criminal. Now, we have had mercifully fewer of those, but we have had them. Now, there's been things from potential fraud to people coming here who are wanted by the police in other states. There's been threats of violence to other community members. There's been few issues like that. At Hedonisia, we don't really... We are a community that is engaged in some powerful work, and we are doing things. We're not afraid to rock the boat, so to speak, but we're doing it with honesty. We're doing it as much as possible by obeying the law. We're trying to be revolutionaries within the system. And so when someone is a community member and they break the law here, when they engage in actions that disrupt other community members' lives or property in a way that is going over the legal lines, we don't really want that. We call a person a black hat because we understand that it's a hat. A person can redeem themselves, they can engage in actions and behavior to change that hat, to become a white hat, for instance, if they truly have repented and atoned for whatever crimes they have done. And we actually did have once an incident where there was a theft issue on the property, and the person atoned and really made up for it in a total way that the other person was very satisfied, and that was the only incident that ever happened on the property. The person went basically from black hat to white hat. They atoned, they made actions to adjust for what they did, and they were an exemplary community member for the entire time they were here, and they became a friend after they left. So we do have a zero tolerance policy on black hats. If someone does come here and engage in criminal behavior, we're not subject to blackmail because we really do try to obey the law. We pay our taxes, we do the right thing. So if someone does engage in craziness here, we will notify the authorities, because we just don't want it. We want to have a peaceful, nice, loving, great place filled with wonderful white hats, and for the most part we do have that, and we've had many years of that. Now the third archetype, which is the most complicated, is the gray hat. And the gray hat is a really strange one, because basically that is someone who's done some great things on the property. Someone who's been a hero at times, who's done either amazing work, handled personal situations in a fantastic way, done things that are really wonderful, that we needed and that we appreciated. And then they've also done disastrously terrible things on the property. Sometimes borderline illegal or whatever, and just things that have just transgressed either other people's rights or something else. And they go into this other area now, which is the gray zone, the gray hat. And that one is a very confusing archetype, because on one hand, we're grateful to the person for having done so much wonderful things, but on the other hand, we're extremely unhappy because this person has also done some very disruptive things. And so when it comes to a gray hat, each one of those situations is very, very personal and very, very custom, because each person's transgressions are different and each person's benefits that they brought to the property are different. So we judge each situation differently. We have allowed some gray hats to stay on the property after what they've done, because we don't want to punish them completely because they've done so many good things. But what we'll do in situations like that is we do have parameters and controls and safeguards on their behavior to ensure that they don't become a black hat. Because if someone's a black hat, then we do have to ask them to leave. But if there's a gray hat situation, we assess it at the time and come up with a custom solution. Our intention is that we're hoping that people are all aspiring to be white hats, that we want to put on the Lone Ranger, the Tonto thing, and be the good person. But we acknowledge and we're quite willing and prepared to defend ourselves for those who are not. It's a crazy subject, and as I said, overall, the vast majority of people who come here have been wonderful, but we wanted to provide this instructional video to give you some ideas that we do get all kinds as well, and we do have policies and practices to be able to deal with different types of characters or hats as they come through the property. We also have a number of filters as well, designed to prevent black hats from coming on the property. And one of the biggest filters is by being honest, by doing things as honestly and as above board as we can. We therefore are not subject to blackmail. We aspire to the highest standard, and it allows us to expect the same. Thank you very much for hearing out this video. Aloha.